That's right.
What's up, y'all? Look, y'all. This is what's so funny, y'all. Let me give y'all an intro, and then we're gonna come back. Cause, but that's good. We ready?
That's hilarious, actually. Because I wouldn't have known no difference.
Hell no.
No, like,
Let's go.
I don't let the whole show go by.
On my feet, you better watch my rap and don't know while I'm jugging on a beat. The swag I got was killing it. You got up in the streets and vocals do not mean a thing if you can't drop it on the beat. My name don't need no introduction, just know that I am. With some respect on that cocaine while I'm in this business. Step up in the club, I got the heels up on my feet. You better watch my rap and don't know while I'm jugging on a beat. The swag I got was killing it. You got up in the streets and vocals do not mean a thing if you can't drop it on the beat. My name don't need no introduction, just know that I am down. With some respect on that cocaine while I'm in this business. My time.
And that's really what I need y'all to understand. Just put some respect on it. That's all I'm saying. Put some respect on it. So this is what we're gonna do. All right, guys. So it's two girls. It's two girls and a guy. So we're having a threesome tonight, right? That's what we're gonna call this.
Let's go.
So BJ, bring it on out. All right, so y'all, let me give you a little background before I kind of introduce where we are tonight. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I had the Motivational Brown Girls platform, and that platform was birthed out of great outrage after the shootings of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling. And anybody that knows me know that I love the essence of our Black men, no matter what, because at the end of the day, we all need one another. We were born together. The Black family is symbolic of strength and determination, but somewhere along the way, we let a whole bunch of other shit come in and infiltrate what we have going on. And so tonight, we're going to get back to the basics. And All Things Authentic is that very platform that merges information, education, and inspiration. And so this platform, All Things Authentic, is about actual reality. There's a lot of reality TV out here, but All Things Authentic is about actual reality. And so thank you guys for jumping in. And so tonight, basically, what we're gonna do, and BJ, I know you're in the studio, so I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're gonna jump into a little bit about kind of why we're here tonight.
All right, can you hear me?
We can hear you, and we can see you too, baby.
That's what's up. Just making sure that my mic sounds nice. All
Your
right,
mic
this your
sounds
boy
right.
B. All right, that's what's up. This your boy BJ, platinum rap artist from the group Southern Players. Don't you want a dicky ride? Um, Entrepreneur, actor, uh, minister, motivational speaker, model, you name it. I do it all. Music producer. You know what I'm saying? Been in the game for over 20 years and still doing my thing. Yeah, that's who I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so you're not introducing yourself just yet because we're going to come back and talk about how this kind of popped off tonight. But BJ, so one of the things that we're going to talk about on All Things Authentic is we're going to take it back to the basics. We're going to talk about courting versus dating versus situations. We're going to talk about ethics and etiquette. We're going to talk about gratitude. And then we're going to talk about value and desire. But tonight, BJ, I want your input on where do you feel the state of affairs are between Black men and Black women today? And I mean, relative to us as a whole, relative to us socially, rather, to our intimate selves and things of that nature. Where do you think we are?
I think that for the most part, I can't really say the percentage, but for the most part, that we've lost our way when it comes to where we are with our Black women. As far as respect wise, as far as protecting and lifting up our Black women, I think we've falling by the wayside with that because I see so much disrespect. I hear people say queen this, queen that, but are you truly respecting her and seeing her as the queen that she really is? You know what I mean? And I see a lot of our younger generation just totally disrespecting women. You know, you have some older generation, and it's a mixture. But what I see today is a lack of honor and respect and love for our black women the way that we really should. And it doesn't just show in how we treat them, but it shows in how we don't treat them. It shows in how we don't protect them. It shows in how we don't stand up the way that we should for them. You know what I mean? And it's sad because you women are the mothers of this earth, and you are the strongest creatures on this planet. And without you, there will be no us. You know what I mean? And I just, it just hurts my heart to see how we treat our black women.
Mm. So, BJ, do you feel like the accessibility to instant everything has cultivated this culture amongst us?
It really has. I think it has because everything is accessible now on the internet. Everything that you want, it's like Burger King. You can have it your way now. And with things being so accessible, it makes it easy to get whatever you want. There is no appreciation like it used to be for being patient, for waiting, for working towards whatever. Now everything is just instant. So when it's instant, you don't appreciate the journey that it took you, the journey that you had to go down, the path you had to go down to get to where you're trying to get that woman, to get that thing, to get that success or whatever it may be. You don't appreciate it anymore. It's like, oh, I deserve it. So everything being so accessible nowadays is just, it's like almost where anybody can do it. Anybody can get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Guys, if you're just checking in, this is just a little snippet of what we're gonna have to offer on all things authentic. And BJ really just told the truth. Um, BJ, where you sit right now, do you ever think that we are going to really get back to genuine, authentic love of one another? Or do you kind of just feel like people don't love themselves, so it's going to take a long time and be hard for them to love other people?
It's never going to get back to how it used to be because there's so many different things that play a big factor in that because there's so many different things going on in the world today that contribute to the way that we are. So individually you may have people that genuinely love and show that affection and appreciation for folks, but overall as a whole, I don't see us ever getting to that point. I
Mm,
see, you hear people say it's going to get worse before it gets better.
that's
you
it.
know I
That's it.
think that this crabitis that so many people have, they got to get it for themselves. They got to pull you down for them to get up, for them to come up.
Mm-hmm.
So the genuine love that it would take for us to see a holistic change in this world and our communities, I don't see it happening. I hear a lot of people talking about it. We can march about it and we can hold hands about it, but holistically, as a collective, I don't see it happening.
Honey, please don't get me started on this talking and marching because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm so tired of marching. Why? What are we marching for? Because I'm gonna be real with you. And guys, this is raw prime time, raw and uncut. Why the hell do we expect anybody else to care about us when we don't care about one another? Now let's just be real. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it.
Hmm.
I feel that way. I'm tired of
Yeah.
marching. Marching, let me tell you what marching worked. Marching worked for our parents and grandparents because they respected themselves. Marching don't
Hmm.
work for us because we out there to be damn sane. I will never forget when George Floyd got killed. I was still in Virginia. And lo and behold, them niggas were out there in the street, set it off in this mother, booties in the ass shaking, bottle popping. That ain't what our parents did when they marched.
Taking selfies.
Yes.
Come on,
And
man.
see, for me, and I tell people, this means something different to me because my mama got scars to prove that she got washed down the street with water hoses
Yeah.
because
Right.
they were marching for our ignorant stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that they marched for, that we are afforded today, we just acting a plum fool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'm gonna come back now, BJ. So I know, and I know you're busy. So I'm gonna definitely. I want you to tell me when you hear me say or post, living the truth, so you don't die in your lies. What does that mean to you?
Living the truth so you don't die in your lies. That puts me in the mindset of it's a lot of people out here fronting. There's a lot of people out here flogging. It's a lot of people out here living in a way to impress people, but it's not really who they are, you know.
Mm,
And if you would just be true to yourself and live the way that you know that you were created to live, don't worry about what other folks think or
mm,
what they're gonna say. You know, don't
mm,
worry about trying to keep up with the Joneses and what you don't have or what they have. If you live the truth, you won't die in the lie of trying to impress folks, trying to live according to how other people want you to live. You know what I mean? And the lie is you got to live according to the worldly standards. The lie is you got to live according to what you see on social media. The lie is you can't truly be happy and be who you supposed to be because you got to look like me. You got to dress like me. You got to talk like me. You got to have what I have. And if you don't, then you're nobody. So a lot of people are dying in the lies that they're being told and the lies that they're believing that the world is throwing at them. Me,
mm.
just like with black girls, love the skin that you're in. You know,
Yes, yes,
you it's to each his own. You do what you want to do, but you don't have to change anything about you because if you are beautiful to you, then you don't worry about what other people still think.
yes. That's it.
You know what I'm
That's it.
saying?
That's it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, live the
Y'all
truth.
hear that
The
coming from
truth
that
is
black
you
man?
were shoot. The truth is you were created. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. Let the truth be told.
Facts.
It should be
Wow.
though.
BJ, for real, I know you got a lot going on. I really appreciate you stepping on and just giving us those words. And y'all know I keep it 100%. It's not many black men for real that are of our generation, I'm gonna say of our generation that I could bring on here. And that's sad. That
Mm,
speaks volumes because they live in the new millennium. I don't care what nobody say. I refuse to conform to all this bull that they trying to sell me because I know what I saw in my household. And I think that's kind of what Whitney and I are going to get into tonight because that's been a big struggle for me with this new stuff because this is not what I saw growing up. I saw a
right.
man and a woman live, love, and really it's death do us part. Like, and even in death, my mother hasn't parted from my father. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know, when he died, it was just like, okay, I'm good because this was good for me. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a firm
Mm-hmm.
believer. And if it was good for my mother, it was good for my father, it's good enough for me.
Come on.
Period.
That's real
So
talk.
I really appreciate you, coming on and speaking your piece because we got a lot of guys, and like Juanita said, people talk the talk but never walk the walk. And I'm gonna tell you, that's something that right now, right in this very moment, we about to get into it because there are so many people that believe the depiction of life that they've created for themselves. They live in their lives. And the crazy thing is they live in their lives to the point where they believe it. And if you confront it, you're bad. You're the
Mm,
problem.
Mhm.
You're
mm-hmm.
stressing their lives. All because they've created a life based on lies.
Mhm.
That's real. That is real. And the sad part about it is it's become a stronghold on so many people's minds that
It
they're
has.
not trying to hear anything different. And before people will hear the truth that will help them to be set free and live more freely, they'd rather go after alternative facts that justify how they're living and what they're doing, all
Mm,
because they want to be right. How me and you talked about at Young Joe's party, they want to be
mm,
in the flesh. That flesh is calling. calling out. You know what I mean? So
Let me say this. And you know, your truth is something that you done concocted the mercy to suit your own case and not the mercy that you need to be receiving. So the hell with your truth. I want you to live in the truth.
Come on now, you preaching.
Because if you don't live in the truth, you're going to die in your lives. And see, people so doggone literal that they don't understand that spiritual death that you die, people walking around here spiritually dead, around here jumping from house to house, bed to bed, car to car, park to park, porch to porch, trying to get a feeling because you're spiritually dead.
Come on, Pastor Lily.
But they don't hear me though. They don't. But see, this is what they don't want.
Yeah.
This is what they don't want. Nobody wants to hear the truth.
You know why? Because the truth exposes them to themselves first. People don't want to be told that they're wrong. People don't want to hear that, you know, and I was talking about that today. People don't want to be told and shown that they're out of order, that they're out of line, that they're out of position. But then when things are out of balance in their life, they wonder why they're not being blessed the way they think they should. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear that. You know, they want to hear something that justifies how they live and what they're doing. They want to be told that it's okay with what I'm doing. God knows my heart. He does know your heart. He knows when your heart is full of deceit and malice and animosity and ulterior motives. So you're right. He does know your heart. So you don't want to hear that truth.
So wait a minute. So BJ, what you're saying is there's no such thing as a half truth or a fib. So you telling me it's only the truth and a lie. It ain't no in between. So when people talk about this gray area, it ain't no gray area.
Ain't no gray area. Let your yay be yay or your nay be nay. Come on. Uh-oh.
Now surely you cannot be telling me that you either did it or you didn't do it. You didn't almost do it. Because if you almost did it, you did it because you was in the place to do it when you know you weren't supposed to be in that place. But they don't want to talk about that though. All right. Okay.
No, they don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
No, because because see, when God starts exposing and pulling the cover back, you know, they don't want you to see that part. You see what I'm saying?
So there's a cover. Okay. So wait a minute. So help me. And girl, you know, we're gonna take it a different way, but you know, since I got a man here, since I got a real man, you know. All right, so this cover. Now, there's this thing called toxic masculinity. And you know, I grew up in a household with a very traditional African-American male. You know, my father was born in 1929. Yeah, daddy was still getting it in at 56 when they made me.
That's a blessing.
So I remember gender roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't remember is him telling my brother that boys don't cry. I remember being told, get up, because you all right to me. I remember being taught to be independent and stand on my own 2 feet. I remember my brother being groomed to respect women, to honor women. But I also remember seeing some of my relatives being taught, boys don't cry. Be a man, go fuck all these bitches. That's what make you a man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the cover that we see is a direct result of that.
It is. You know, you have so many, especially in this day and age, you have so many people that are teaching that have never been taught themselves. You have so many people being a negative example because they never had the right example for them when they were coming up. You have so many people that have experienced seeing their father beat their mother stepping out on the father and have a revolving door when it comes to men. You know what I mean? And that's what they've been taught. That's the example they've been seeing. You know, back when we were growing up, of course, it was a traditional way of doing things. You were taught as a young man how to open the door for a woman, you know, how to let her go first, how to respect her, you know, how to treat a woman. You know, as a woman was taught how to be a woman, how to dress like a woman, how to not be provocative and promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? And but the foundation was Jesus, because we were taught to go to church. Sometimes we were drugged to church. You know, me and my cousins, my brothers and sisters. Sometimes we were made to be on the choir. We didn't want to sing, but that foundation
In them
was
Sunday
was
school
was built.
plays.
Yeah. Oh, what you know about that? Come on now. So the foundation was laid and it was solidified. And even though as we went through our life's experiences, some of us strayed. But as the Bible says, train up a child in the ways that they should go. They may stray away from it, but it will come back to remembrance. The foundation was laid. Nowadays, you know, these youngsters are not being taught because some of their parents weren't taught. And even if they were taught, a lot of them didn't retain what they were taught. You
Or
know,
they were taught the
and
wrong
that's why
thing.
you.
And I'm
Or they
sorry.
were taught the
I
wrong
do
thing.
apologize. I do apologize for anybody that say that there's not a right and a wrong way to do things. I do believe that there is a right and a wrong way. I think what has happened in this world, right is now wrong and wrong is now right. And people feel
Yep.
like they don't owe anybody any explanation for anything. But you a lie and the truth ain't in you. And I tell you right now. And my brother just checked in, and he lucky I don't bring him up here. So I'm just gonna just keep posting what he say, because he will tell you one thing about it. One thing in our household that rings true today is that you respect yourself. And at the
Mm-hmm.
point that you feel disrespected, you confront that disrespect.
Yes. Yes. And you know, one thing that I teach a lot of women is respect yourself and demand respect from others. You know, I don't care who it is. You don't let anybody disrespect you. Know who you are. When you know your identity,
Mm-hmm.
can't nobody else define you. They can call you the B word. They can call you this. They can bring up who you used to be and what you used to do. That's fine, but you know who you are today.
That's
And you
it.
respect
That's
yourself
it.
and you demand respect from them, and don't feed into the lies. Like you
That's it.
said, live in the truth.
The
You know,
truth, not your
no,
truth.
no,
The truth.
yeah, live in
The truth.
the truth.
Yes. All of that. Wow,
That's
BJ, you know what? Thank you. And for real, you will be back. You'll be back when this is just a teaser. This is just a pregame.
that's what's
Um,
up.
I thank you. I thank you because and
Hey,
I'm not gonna take it
you already
there.
know.
I'm a step back because my mindset, these past few weeks have been confront and ask questions later, but confront right now. But you know something, and the segue into our next conversation is going to be, my sister here told me, just live, just live. So when she said that, I'm a strategize. I'm an academician, so I gotta have a lesson plan, a backup lesson plan, and then I gotta make sure I got the quizzes, the test, and the final exam to match it. So when she tell me to just live, I'm like, but sis, I can't just live, because if I just live, then that means I'm subjected to all of the fuckery that's going on.
Mm, that's real. You
Because if
know.
I just live, I'm going to live according to the value system that I was taught, and I'm going to get chewed up by these vultures out here if I just live. See,
Mm-hmm.
I just watched a close relative of mine just live as we were taught to live and be abused. You
Mm-mm.
get what I'm saying? And see, this is the
You,
part I want y'all to understand. And BJ, before you leave, this is the part I want you to understand, guys. That mental anguish, I tell anybody, attempt, and you notice I'm saying attempt to beat my ass. Attempt. Because that mental anguish of lies, deception, and all of that in between,
Mm-hmm.
it will drive you freaking insane.
It will. You know what that just live sounds like to me is like merely exist. You
Mm,
know, and there's a lot of people out here just living, just merely existing with no
mm,
purpose. You know, wake up every day with no purpose, no drive, no determination, no aspirations, no goals in sight. I'm just living. So that means you're just
mm,
going along with the everyday program. You
mm-hmm.
never try to change the channel. You never try to do anything different. You're living a life of insanity. You keep doing the same old things, expecting different results because you're just living. You know, be you. You know, I firmly believe that we were created to stand out, not to fit in. But when you
Oh,
just live, you just fit in. What up?
so you
What up,
saying in
TB?
that just living, I still need to be set apart,
You need to be set
steadfast,
apart.
unmovable, always abound.
Come on
Okay,
now.
I
Come
can
on
do
now.
that. I can do that. I can do that. DJ
Because we
for
don't
real.
just live. We seek to live abundantly. We don't just live
Mm,
just to keep our head above water, just to make
mm.
it every day. You know what I'm saying? We're more than conquerors, so we don't just settle for what comes at us. We adapt and we overcome. So we don't just live in the moment. You know,
Wow.
when we step in the room, Lily, you already know when we step in the room, all heads turn.
You know, and this is the thing, and I'm glad you mentioned it because I want to say this before we transition out, and I'm gonna bring another gentleman on, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional because this is the second man. The man that I'm getting ready to bring on is the second man in my life that I ever fell in love with, and I'm saying this public, and I never have said this to him because my daddy was the first man, and my
That's what's
brother was
up.
the second. Because if anybody knows who and what a Jones man is, you can't touch him. You can't touch him with a
Mm-hmm.
12-inch spoon because they are just a different breed. And you know, I so freely talk about my family because I'm not gonna live in my truth. I'm gonna live in the truth. And what I know about those Jones men is that they all have a history of hurt and pain, but they are overcome. And the way that they came out that shit fighting, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm so confrontational. And see, people get confrontational and argumentative messed up. The root word of confrontational is confront. I confront bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you should. I mean, if you don't, guess what you're gonna keep getting? Guess what's gonna keep being thrown at you?
Manure. Period.
Okay.
But
always,
DJ, for real,
it
I love it. I
always.
love it. I appreciate you for coming on. And you will be back. Definitely, you will be one of our ongoing panelists. Tina checked in. She on set, but she will be here. Cornito be. It's gonna be a couple of y'all on here, so I'm really excited. But
Hey, that's what's up.
yeah, Brittany and I we gonna break out a little bit, and then we're gonna bring on that other gentleman. But BJ, I love you to pieces, and definitely we'll see you soon.
Hey, love you too, babe. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. All right, before I bring the other gentleman out, all right, so how do you feel about that?
Why what?
About everything we just talked about? How do you like how do you feel? How do you feel about us and where we are in the world right now with this
Oh,
whole
you mean like okay, starting from like when you first asked him like just the state of just black women and men and
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. I mean, honestly, I agree with pretty much most everything that he was saying. I didn't disagree with anything that he said actually. I think that from a male perspective, it was nice to hear a male interject their responsibility to our cultural status before the woman's because it's
Mhm.
like it's typically a woman bash session, but he took the opportunity to say that we're not protecting our women, we're not leading our houses, like we're not doing what we're supposed to do to make them feel safe and have them
Mhm.
able to operate in their divine, femininity or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I thought that was a real necessary, like, and needed point to interject, because if you're going to assert yourself as a leader, the first thing that you do is take accountability and responsibility on how you lead or lack thereof.
Mm.
Um,
Lack thereof. Okay.
so, so I thought that was a sign that it's not that it is kind of non-existent. It's more so that it's not being taught at the rate that it's been being taught, that it was more so when we were growing up. So it's like there are a lot fewer households, dual households, to where a similar message is being communicated to the masses of us. Whereas now it's just little pockets of, men, and then whenever there is some mentorship or whatever, but for the most part, we have a epidemic of single parent households in the Black community, for various reasons. For various reasons, some in our control, some out of our control. However, the one thing that doesn't change is the resilience that we have in ourselves. And
Agreed.
even though it doesn't come as much as a collective as we would like for it to be,
Mhm.
um, people are surviving the best way they know how. And when you begin to understand trauma and how it's passed down generationally, you can understand kind of more so why it might be easier for you to overcome certain challenges and not so easy for another person, that you would think like, man, if I could do this, why can't you do this? But you don't know what that person is really dealing with on the inside. Like, it might tangibly, you might be able to weigh yourself against a person, but you don't know what that person is dealing with spiritually, emotionally, traumatically, and things that they don't talk about, because most of the time people don't talk about. So,
Hold it right there. So y'all, I had to bring this special gentleman out with his fat ass head. If y'all don't know, I am not
okay.
contrary to popular opinion, everybody think that it's just me. No, this is my brother. My biological, not somebody that I call brother. My biological
Bloodline.
brother, born in 1980. He the oldest, but I have always bossed his ass around. Um, but I have to say, and I'm gonna hold it together. I have to say that he is somebody that I often wonder how he exists in this world. And I say
Mhm.
that because, we grew up in the same household under the same rules,
Mhm.
but we are two totally different kids.
Mhm.
Linwood follows rules. He was the kid that never went against the grain. He followed every structure. I did everything outside of everything that I was taught because, yeah. But our hearts are the same.
Mhm.
And so I bring him here because if we're really going to be raw and uncut, Linwood, I want to ask you the question. What is it like for you to know how you grew up and what you saw growing up and to see what's going on out here in the world today? You got to unmute yourself. Uh-huh. Your sound is still you might have to go out and come back in.
It
Hang
usually
on.
shows you if your mic
Hold
is.
on, I think I hear him. He in the tractor trailer, child. He probably somewhere. He's somewhere in the United
Yeah,
States.
can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
And y'all
good,
listen
good.
to how country he is. I'm country, but he
See,
sound like he from Arkansas.
there you go. But now, first of all, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody having a good
Hey.
night. Hey, hey. But to go on what you said, it's disheartening now because with what you see now, especially with our black men, we're not being men no more. And what I mean by saying that is black men, our dads, our granddads, our great granddads were groomed to be strong, to be a man. And with that said, in being a man, it didn't only mean you rule with an iron fist, but you recognize that if you had a good woman, you also let that woman play her role.
Come on.
But now what we're dealing with is men that are weak but are being trained that if you sleep with this many women, or if you grab her and toss her around, or if you do this, that, and the third, that makes you a man. No, that doesn't make you a man. It makes you a wannabe of a man. What makes you a man, first things foremost, what makes you a man is submitting to God so that he can lead you. That's the number one thing that you have to do. Okay, once you submit to God for him to lead you, then he's going to lead you and you're going to be a better man for your family. You're going to be able to lead your household, and like I said, the men of today, and a lot of it is because they don't have that positive role model in their life. They don't know what it is to be a man. And I used to be one that said, I would hear people all the time say, oh, TV is the cause of it. And, I'd be like, oh, no, TV ain't the cause of it. But yeah, these reality shows and all like that, when we had shows like, I know some people got their mindset or whatever, but
The
when
Cosby
we had
Show.
TV
Let's
shows
just
like the
be
Cosby
real.
shows, we had Different World, we had Fresh Prince, we had Family Matters,
Good
you know,
times.
Good Times, a Rock. You had shows like that that showed what it was to be a positive person, a positive family. Now, and I'm not throwing shade because if times change, but like these reality shows, life imitates art. And unfortunately, now life is imitating an art that is so far off of the trail of what life should be.
Okay. Come
And
through.
until we get back to the root of what we're supposed to be, it's gonna be bad. Because you like I said, you look at the younger generation now with the style of dress and all of that. And some of this stuff is like, come on, man. You can't walk up in here and expect to get a job looking like that.
That much is
You
true.
can't walk up in here and expect to get a job talking like that. And one thing that hurts me about our people is, and I know a whole lot of people will get mad about this, but the truth gonna set you free. Our people have gotten to the point now that being doing what you're supposed to do, acting how you're supposed to act, has been called being you being a sellout, you being dumb, you being this, that, and the third. No, 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 no. If you really want to be true to who you are and true to where you come from, then you're gonna want to get a better education. You're gonna want to level up. You're gonna want to be at a position to where you can reach down and grab your brothers and your sisters and pull them up.
That's real. That's real.
But we are at a point now to where instead of pulling each other up or gaining our education, being dumb is considered being real. Being uneducated,
Whoa.
being uneducated is being real. No, that's being real dumb. That's what it's being.
Wait. All
You
right.
know,
Let's put a
I
pin.
mean,
We got to put a pin in it. We're going to put a pin in it. All right, Whitney.
okay.
All right.
But
And y'all, let me make sure y'all understand this real quick. You got to understand that all education isn't formal. You know, education takes many forms. Education starts in the home. So I want to make sure you understand what when he's preferencing getting a better education is as simple as picking up a book and reading it.
Picking up a book and reading it, once again, the TV shows of the past, watching them, watching the news,
Fact.
things of that nature. And then also what you said about it starts in the home, also starts in the home with who you are around. Because, okay, take example me. All of Daddy's friends that, because that's one thing I praise our dad about. He was one of them that, even before Lil was born, when he went somewhere, I was with him all the time.
Yep.
So I was around the influence of older men. I was around the influence of wisdom. And that's another thing. That's a form of education. People now have gotten away from listening to the elders. Oh, I don't want to hear what they got to say. They talking dumb. No, they're not talking dumb. They're talking wisdom that will carry you to the next level. But like I said, we have gotten to a point that we don't want to elevate. We just want to stay complacent where we're at.
Put a pin in it. All right, Whitney, let's go. We don't want to elevate. We just want to stay complacent where we're at. And so with Linwood, what we're going to do with that, we're going to take it a different place.
Okay.
I've been seeing this quote a lot. Well, two quotes a lot. People want to stay broken because their brokenness gets them more attention. And the other one that I've been seeing is be careful when you're dating and dealing with people with spiritual gifts because they are going to smell it, see it, feel it, or see it. So let's talk about elevation on a spiritual level. Because, see, I think that's the part that people forgetting about. When BJ talked about deception and BJ was talking about that, I was just sitting here, girl, I was getting hot. Because I was just like, people don't realize that when you are spiritually sound and spiritually intact, you can't really ever get anything by that unless you just the devil, him or herself. So Whitney, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that spiritual piece.
I think that, if we kind of talk about all of the different aspects of what's affecting us as individuals now, you have to remember that access is everything. And it's different, for us now living in these times than it was for us growing up. So, for example, we went to church every Sunday. We had a set of core values and spiritual understandings that came from us seeing people live the way we thought that was right. We were taught was right. But now with everything at the touch of your fingertip, like you can see all the discretions that's in the church and that's in the religion, like umbrella in general, which is really affecting everybody's spiritual confidence. It's like the people that are so heavy advocates for their spiritualities are just like the Pharisees in the Bible. They're just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like people that have to just constantly remind everybody or that just have to walk around in so much air, about themselves as far as how like elevated they project themselves to be above, things. But it's just like, like it's just like wealth is quiet. And it's quiet.
Woo!
It's quiet. You know what I'm saying? Peace and spiritual elevation is quiet and gentle and loving and nurturing and welcoming. It is not arrogant. It's not judgy. It's not, let me, make you feel shame for where you are in your journey or anything like that. So I just feel like there is a spiritual absence that's been replaced with religion and self-proclaimed titles and things like that. Like, everybody needs to be prefaced with something. You need to be apostle this and evangelist that and
No,
this and
wait
this
a
and that.
minute.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm just me. Even when I was the GM, the CEO, whatever it is of whatever company I work for, I'm Whitney. How are you? You know what I'm saying? Because we're people. And I think it's the lack of connectedness that we have with people. I feel like it's our need to elevate certain other people based off of very trivial things that are typically fake. Like, we elevate these people and we idolize people and we idolize this like perception of what spiritual elevation looks like. Like, what does it look like to be spiritually elevated? Do we really have an example, or do we have an example of what the pastor in the pulpit looks like, or how that, you know what I'm saying, that particular person? But do we know or recognize, would you recognize a person with spiritual maturity if they walk past you? If they didn't have on a suit and didn't carry a Bible, if they didn't walk around with a prayer cloth and holy water, would you recognize that spirit? Would like spirit recognize like spirit?
No. Let me just, and you know what, Whitney, let me just go there. No, because I'm going to tell you why. See, one of the things I found, since entering this industry is that I can go places, and I'll never forget it. I was on a red carpet, and this older black man, he said something. I can't really remember exactly what he said. And I said, oh, so you have been transformed by the renewing of your mind. And girl, he said, I knew I could say that to you because I could see the light on you. Now, mind, I'm in a building where the weed smoke was so thick, I had to take my bundles out and wash them.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm in a place probably with some killers, some dealers, some stillers.
Sound like
But I
something
don't care
that Jesus
about that
probably
because
would
guess
have went,
what?
you know what I'm saying, if
If
he
the
was walking
truth
the earth
be
during our
told,
time.
huh?
I said, sound like someplace Jesus probably would have went if he was walking the earth during our time.
Say it
Exactly. There you
again.
go.
Say
I'm
it
just,
again.
There you go.
So I say that to say, Whitney, I'm with you. And because I'm loud and I bring it in a confrontational manner, people don't understand this is who I am. See, the thing about a whole lot of y'all personalities and public figures is this not who y'all were. But see, I brought somebody on here that knew me before I was born, that knew me as a baby. I was
Yeah.
born like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I
This
mean,
how I talk to everybody. See, that's why when I branded me, I branded Lily Mae. I ain't gotta have no other name.
yeah.
Because when my mom and daddy named me Lily Mae, see what y'all don't know is see, we got the real spiritual roots running through our veins. See, when we play blonde and act like we don't know what's going on, it's because if we really tapped into the source of our being and our lineage from deep down in South Carolina, man, we would tear up some houses.
oh, I mean, now not to interrupt you on that, but I had that conversation, and I didn't say nothing to you about it. I was going to tell you at the right time, but I'll tell you now. A week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, me and Stevie was on the phone, and we delved deep into some stuff that I never knew. And all I'm gonna say is, like you just said, if people realize or knew who we really were or what we really come from, they would take a step back and re-look at, okay, all right. But to go back on something that was said about people in the spirit, yeah, that's a funny one to me, because the reason I say it's a funny one, because like you said, people with spirituality, with Christ now, with being a Christian, they got to put a title on everything.
Mm.
You got to walk around with your nose so stuck up in the air, you so holier than thou, that you can't do nothing. I have so many people that tell me, well, that's why I don't see the need in going to church, because if I try to come to church, all they're going to do is judge me. That's the reason I don't never hit anybody. Like, it's a few people lately that, I've hit them with, we'll be talking about church or something, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm a deacon. And when I say that, you a what? Yeah, but see, the fact of the matter is, I know how to be real. I'm not saying I'm the most. I'm far from a role model Christian. I'm kind of like Steve Harvey said. He's still working on me because I say stuff I shouldn't say. I do stuff I shouldn't do. But I know the word, and the main thing that we have forgotten about now is trying to be Christians. Number one, you don't judge nobody. Number two, you don't get to the point that because, oh, I was out here in the streets doing this and doing that, now I'm in the church, I'm better than you.
Mm.
Because while you sitting there doing that, you blocking all your blessings, and the person that's submitting themselves, the beggar on the corner that's saying, Lord, I'm hungry. I just need something to eat. He's gonna get his blessing
That's it.
because he's coming as humbly as he know how.
That's it.
But we have gotten to the point with spirituality and Christianity to where it's the more expensive suit or dress you put on, or what kind of hat you walk up in the church with on, dictates how spiritual you are.
But then we'll hold up. Let's just step back for a second.
Okay.
I ain't gonna blast because I really don't care because I'm sick of it. But it's just so interesting to me that it's so many people in the church that just be sleeping around with other people's spouses that sit right beside them in church, but then let the young people pop up and get pregnant out of wedlock. You want them to come back and apologize to the church. I would never forget. I told my mama, I said, if I ever get knocked up, I'm not apologizing to no church because I didn't have sex and sin against the church. My sin was against God. So
It's
I'm
an
going to ask
image.
him to forgive me.
It's
Like,
a
y'all, our grandma was a legit, I think they did, and went for real. I think they did put grandma out the church when she had mommy now. And she had to
Yeah,
come
they
back and
did.
apologize and
They
shit.
yeah, she had to come
That
back and
wouldn't have been, I'm
apologize. Yeah,
sorry. And you
yeah.
wouldn't have put me out. Because I would have came up in there and still did what I wanted to do. Because this is my thing. And I think this is just probably why it has been so hard for me. That's why I always say, I admire my brother because he really did live by turn the other cheek. Damn it, I'm not turning no cheeks. If you smack me, I'm gonna smack your ass back and pray for you all in the same
Well,
process.
see, I'm gonna tell you something though to go with that. It's you were saying about different things you see, memes and things you see. That one meme that comes to mind with that. It ain't that I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of myself.
I know that's right. You
I
better
know
tell them,
what
Linwood. You better tell them.
most people see me. Oh, you smiling all the time. You this, that, and the third. But very few have seen me when I get to that point to where I don't care, and that's a point I don't
Have
like to
y'all
go
seen
to
the Incredible Hulk? If y'all didn't seen the
because
Incredible Hulk, that's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, go ahead.
it's gonna be a destruction point. But what I was getting ready to say about what you were saying about how like with grandma and all of it, with if you get knocked up and then you got people sleeping with people in church, it's an image thing. Oh, we got to have this image right here, so we got to take this right here and make it look right because everybody can see it because she's pregnant, so her belly gonna get bigger, so everybody gonna see it. We got to make this look good.
Yeah.
But brother so and so over here sleeping with sister so and so who is brother so and so's wife, we think don't nobody know about it, so we ain't got to touch that because it ain't being seen.
Stop. Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Whitney, I want
Mhm.
you to respond to that. Because Linwood, this is something that I think that we gotta hit it. We just gotta call it out.
Okay.
So because you don't think anybody knows, that makes it okay.
I think it's more so like it's easier to attack a visible evil or sin or wrong, like anything that it's almost like why homosexuality is probably one of the biggest things that they constantly condemn because
Yeah,
for the most part you can see it. Like you know, and it's typically at men. You know, it's not really a lot of constant sermons that just call women out the way they call the men out. But the irony, the irony behind that is that if you go to church, there is a large male homosexual population that actually submits to a covering that openly denounces their lifestyle. I don't know how they rectify it, and it's not really into my business because I feel like no sin is greater than the next. It doesn't really, I don't care. Honestly, I don't like how it's targeted so much. And I'm not sure if I could sit up on, I don't know, but it's not my experience. But what I'm saying is, from what I recognize, is that it's easier to attack visible crime. It's things that you can see visibly. If you're sneaking around and don't nobody know about it, ain't no baby popped up, you know, it is what it is. It's really a matter of my word versus yours. Like, it's rumors. It's not really in it. But if you see the baby, you see the stomach, you know what I'm saying? You have something to be like, aha, you know. And then it's also a part of you feeling better about yourself because you see somebody else struggling. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a point in which they can kind of put another notch on them. Well, you know, so-and-so child done popped up pregnant. My daughter would never. You know, people have these.
They do that.
It's really even about you. Sometimes people live through their family, their kids, their associations, their affiliations. And when they have done that, and then you do something to shatter this image, it's not even about you. It's about, I created this world. This is how I want people to see me. And now you messing it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but, you know, when it boils down to it, I think that it all stems from the fact that as Christians, we're like, you're leading by example. You're not leading with an iron fist, with a rod. You know what I'm saying? You ain't the rod. Okay? You're not the rod. And to be honest, it's like, I don't really see the shame tactic really working, because let's just be honest. If we had such a stronghold on spirituality, then we wouldn't be this far away from it as a whole at this point. If we really just had that big of a stronghold, you know what I'm saying? Like, I honor the ancestors for the things that they did do right, but we're not gonna romanticize the situation to the point of not recognizing where growth is needed. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the lack of respect that exists also exists because there was a lack of mutual respect. And respect exists on many levels, but you cannot completely diminish a person just because of who you are. You ain't got to be right. You ain't got to have nothing supporting this just because of who you are. You just get to dictate my life and say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do to me. And because I came along after you, I just submit to it, like as if you know what I mean? Like that's not a situation that's going to withstand. Like,
Put a pin in it. Guys, listen. This is All Things Authentic, and tonight is the primetime raw and uncut version. But guess what? You don't get no more, because I want you to sit back and I want you to think about everything that you heard tonight. And if you're watching this in the post-productive phase, I want you to go back to the beginning, and I want you to listen. I want you to listen again. And I'm going to say this to everybody. The reality is this: live in the truth, not your truth, not his truth, not her truth. Live in the truth. Because if you don't live in the truth, you will die in your lies. Have a great evening.